Well guys, it's time to talk My Hero Academia once again, chapter 185. Got some more insight on Hawk's character, which I really like to see. I mean, I kind of expected us to find out more about his character in this chapter, and sure enough we did. But we also got to find out more about what his arc is gonna be about. We learned that there is a Nomu situation at the end of the chapter, which I'm really looking forward to. Like, I cannot wait to see Hawks and Endeavor in action again, because it definitely looks like we're gonna get some kind of a team up between the two of them. Although I do question if we're gonna get to see a lot of the students, or if it's gonna be mainly focusing on the pro heroes, because that would be something that we haven't really had yet in My Hero Academia. We haven't really had an arc that centers around someone other than Deku or anyone else in Class 1A in general. Like, it's always been someone from Class 1A, but now maybe we can get an arc that solely focuses on Hawks and Endeavor. I would absolutely be in favor of that, because Endeavor needs more screen time. Hawks needs more screen time given how new he is. Like, we need to know more about him, we need to see him fight. So I really hope we get to see both Hawks and Endeavor just go ham on these Nomus, whatever this Nomu situation may be in Hawks' hometown. So firstly we're gonna learn where Hawks is from, which, I mean, he said his hometown, implying that it's not really in Tokyo, right? It's somewhere else. So it's gonna be further away than I think we've really been in My Hero Academia, because so far we've really been in Tokyo all the time. So I'm guessing he's referring to a town that's not quite in Tokyo, it's further away. So we're gonna get to see some more of Japan in My Hero Academia's verse, because it's probably gonna differ from the normal verse, and even if it doesn't, most people haven't been to Japan, so we're gonna get to see some more of that, you know what I mean? Now, what I really liked in this chapter obviously also has to do with Hawks. Like, we got to see Hawks' personality in full swing. Like, he was not holding back at all, and I am absolutely in love with his character just from the way he acts and the way he speaks to people. He has absolutely no concept of remorse, or whatever you want to call it. Not remorse, that's the wrong word, but basically, right, he doesn't shut up. Like, if he has something to say about you, he's probably gonna say it, but at the same time he seems to have an idea of how to keep your mouth shut, at least for some time. Like he said in the chapter, he has a hard time containing himself, so he is aware that his personality may be a bit much for some people. Like, it may be too much to handle for a few people, so he tries his best to keep what he wants to say to himself. But at some point it's gonna leak out, you know, he's had enough and he just needs to say what he has on his mind. And that's exactly what we got in this chapter. Like, we got to see all of that. Obviously this chapter focused almost entirely around talking and around Hawks, because Hawks is apparently the youngest person ever, or at least the first person ever to reach the top 10 in his teenager years, which is quite surprising. Like, he was even higher ranked than Endeavor at an early age. Obviously Endeavor reached number 2, I believe, around 22 or something, but Hawks was apparently within the top 10 when he was like 18 or 19 or something like that, because it said he opened his own hero office when he was 18, and the second semester that year he was within the top 10. So it kind of depends, you know, obviously when his birthday is and all of that, but if we assume it's the year he turned 18, then he was 18 when he reached the top 10, which is the same year as when he opened his hero office, and pretty much the same year as he finished high school. And that is pretty crazy when you think about it. That's like amazing. So he was just straight on point, you know, he wanted to get out there. However, that is kind of interesting when you think about it, because he said he doesn't really like the idea of being within the top 10. Like, he'd prefer maybe in the 20s or 30s, because that way he'll have more freedom as a hero. And yet he still does his best, you know, he's not gonna hold back or just do worse just because he wants to drop in rankings or whatever. He is actually intending on doing what he needs to do. Like, a lot of people in My Hero Academia, they have personalities when you look at him at the first time and you think, how is this person a hero? Like, Endeavor was kind of the same at the beginning when we first got introduced to him. Like, how would Endeavor become the number 2 hero? It didn't make much sense, now did it? But at the same time, you know, at the end of the day, they do want to be heroes. They do hero activity, even if their personalities may not seem suited for it. At least not the way that they speak to certain people, but you know, when they get out there and they want to help people, they may maybe a completely different person. I'm guessing this might apply to Hawks as well, but we can't really tell for sure just yet. Hopefully though, next chapter, or this arc at least, we're gonna find out exactly what Hawks is about, both in action and in different situations, socially and whatever, you know, like how he interacts with other people in contrast to how he may be talking to Endeavor, because the way he talks to Endeavor is very disrespectful, I guess, in a way. Like, he doesn't give a fuck about Endeavor. Like, this guy straight up said, like in front of everyone, that yeah, well, he may be number 2, but if you look at the approval ratings, I'm above you. In fact, he put Endeavor down to number 4 when it came to approval ratings, which goes to show you that this guy, he doesn't care if you're number 2. Popularity is basically everything for him. Hawks is a guy who wants the attention, he wants to be recognized, but at the same time, I don't think that's all it's about. I think there's something more to his character, because we've only really seen one chapter that really shows what he is about. Now, one page in this chapter that I really liked was when Edgeshot was like explaining, you know, his situation of being the number 3 hero, whatever. No, well, I guess number 4, because he's after Best Jeanist. And we see Hawks just unzipping his mouth, because that's the point in the chapter when he cannot contain himself, and he explains, you know, I don't give a shit about this. Like, who cares about not wanting fame? Who cares about the essence of peace? That isn't really Hawks' idea of what it means to be a hero. Like, he has a completely different idea when it comes to heroes as a lot of the other people within the top 10. At least that's what we can assume, because most of the top 10 seem to be on the same page, but then you have Hawks who really stands out with what he says and how he acts as a hero, especially since he's doing it in public so everyone can see how he's acting. So it's not really a personality he wants to hide from the public, but he may still act differently when it comes to like saving people or fighting a villain, you know, whatever it may be. I'm sure he has some kind of secret as far as his personality goes, and I really need to find out what this character can do and what he's about. So let's talk about the Nomu situation actually, because as I said, at the end of the chapter we find out that there is some kind of new Nomu on the block, right? And it seems very interesting because apparently this one can talk. We don't really know how intelligent it is, but we do know it can talk, and that's a leap compared to the Nomus that we've encountered so far, because so far the Nomus have been completely unable of speech. They've just been brute force pretty much, but this one is different. We don't really know the extent of this Nomu, of course, but it doesn't really look like the other Nomus we've encountered. Like, this one looks very different, so I really want to know what's so different about it, because when I first looked at it, it reminded me a bit of Kurogiri in a way, which I thought was really strange, right? Because Kurogiri is in Tartaros, you know, this cannot be Kurogiri. And seeing as All For One is apprehended, I didn't really understand, you know, how did this Nomu come to be? So obviously there's someone else out there that's creating these Nomus alongside All For One, possibly the doctor that we've been seeing. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. We did see a pair of legs, we didn't see any body type, we didn't see the face or anything, so we have no idea who this person is apart from the fact that he's obviously working alongside the League. That's all we really know. And this Nomu is going to do something. He is gonna do something crazy, and I cannot wait for this arc. I've said it too many times in this review already, but I really cannot wait. Like, this has me hyped up so much, especially since we found out recently that My Hero Academia, starting this chapter, reached its turning point. And even in the chapter you see like this person saying that this is the turning point because of the fact that it's been 3 months since All Might retired from being a hero because of the fact that he can't use his quirk anymore. So even within the series they claim that this is a turning point, and then we have Horikoshi, I believe it was, who said that this is in fact a turning point in the series in general. So they definitely want to emphasize that this is where things get crazy. So I really hope that starts right away. Now, I don't expect anything majorly mad, you know, going on already in the next chapter. I believe this arc is just going to be the beginning of what's to come. Anyway, that's really all I had to say about this chapter. I would love to know what you think about chapter 185 of My Hero Academia. Like, did you like it? Did you love it? Or did you perhaps not like it? But if you didn't like it, I want to know why, because this chapter was straight up gold. Anyway, if you did, be sure to Detroit smash that like button if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This has been Chaotic Plus, and remember everybody, Choga is waifu, Toga is laifu.